Okay. So just basically starting from what is IAM, as Okta is in Cloud Identity and Access Management platform. So IAM is basically policies and rules a company follows for making an employee logging into their systems, handle all the access of the resources. This is what IAM is, and Okta basically manages the authentication part of it well. So who are you? How do we verify you? What can you access? This can all be done using Okta. IAM in practice. So, like if an employee named Ronak joins a company, he will be first authenticated. He will be checked in the source of truth. Source of truth is basically the HR system where he first, gets logs his details. He will be checked there. Then he will be able to log into his resources. All the resources which a company basically gives to an employee is then automatically provisioned for the first time. Okay, and then the employee can log into the resources. The identity management system stores all the basically data, profile data, and the entitlements and the resources a user can access. Like Okta is a universal directory. Universal directory meaning that it contains all the personal data, all the attributes of the employee, which can be used by the other systems to fetch the necessary information. Like you can see the name, email, employee ID, department, manager. Am I moving too fast or should I continue my speed because it's just the theory part?
That is okay for me.
So authentication, you already all know because we use password to log in some places. We use OTP. We can use the Okta's own verify OTP process, which is Okta Verify. The app you can install it in your mobile. When you are logging into your Okta, you will be asked for a password. Then the OTP or generally a code is generated every 10 seconds or so in the mobile and it will be refreshed automatically. So password is rotated for enhanced security. Biometrics is also used when you need to enhance the the access safety of the product, so you use biometrics like the thumbprint, eye scan, and so on. Authorization. Okta also gives authorization to access to different apps. Like Okta has a feature called as single sign-on. Single sign-on is basically what you're doing with your Google account. Like when you use Google account, log into your Google account, you can automatically log into YouTube, Gmail. You don't need to personally enter your password again and again. So Okta helps uh, helps you enter the password only once and log into all the different applications. And here, let me tell you in advance that Okta has 8,000 different applications which are pre-configured to it. So when the company needs some application, uh, application given to some person, they will authorize the person and he will only have to log in one at Okta and he will be able to log into that application. Single sign-on, I already told you. One login provides access to multiple applications instead of remembering separate password for Gmail, Salesforce, and Slack. So that's what it is basically. Multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication. Okta is, basically an authentication platform. It also has different features, but authentication is the main part of it. So it will help you uh, enter password plus Okta verify, which I already told you, rotation of codes which you enter after the password. Password plus security key, password plus fingerprint, and this can also be adaptive based on the situation a person is in. Like if you suppose if you log in Kota and then you move to Jaipur, it will see that is the distance you covered possible in the duration of time you are logging in. If it isn't, it will ask you to enter more authentication. Like it will you will set those policies, like if you want an extra security key or fingerprint to check if the person is really the person you are trying to log in. Lifecycle management. Lifecycle management is basically divided into three processes: joiner, mover, and leaver. So, telling you about joiner, if a person joins a company, his account will be created in an HR source like Active Directory, Workday, or similar applications. The all HR will verify all his profile attributes like what do you say, name, date of birth, department, everything will be there. And now that information is taken into Okta from different sources. Like the employees' attributes are stored in HR, so HR attributes, and applications account, and more. So everything will be taken from there and stored in Okta. We use app integration agents,
Sorry,
integration agents to move in.
can you
Yes,
repeat that part? There was a slight disconnect.
last slide.
Not just the last sentence.
Okay, okay. See, there are different sources where the employees' data is stored, like Active Directory, like LDAP, like uh, Workday, like HR softwares like Workday. So suppose, giving a simple basic example, like my name is stored in a account, uh, HR account Workday, okay, and my department designation and everything work related is stored in Active Directory. So as Okta is a universal directory, it needs to have access to all this information. So how will it take it? We use integration agents to fetch data from these applications to the Okta. You understand?
Yeah, got it.
Hello?
Yeah, got
Okay.
it.
Mover, and now the mover process. Suppose if employee is promoted or just moves from one department to another, like from finance to IT. Now all his previous entitlement is basically the permissions which is granted to the user by a company to their resources. Okay. So if an employee moves from one department to another, the application he has access to, the permissions he has access to, and everything, the resources, everything he has access to, like the pass to a building, pass to a office, everything has to be adjusted. So mover is basically that. All the past applications, accesses, resources are removed and the new ones are given. So Okta can also do that to an extent, because Okta is basically an authentication, but in Okta authentication, but it can do that too. Lever. So if a person leaves the company, so all his access to the applications have to be removed. It needs to be done urgently as possible, as you have heard the cases of people doing, deleting their databases, changing their source code and all. So revoking the accesses to the applications they have been assigned to is the most important part here. So we do that. So where does Okta fit here? Like I told you, users sign in once to Okta, and they are given access to the application they are assigned to. So, but there can be one more situation, like user directly logs into the application without logging into Okta. So what will happen is that application will go to Okta, will ask Okta if the user exists in the universal directory. Like I told you, right? The universal directory contains all the information about the employee. So the application will ask Okta if the employee really exists. If it exists, Okta will communicate with the application and the application will grant access. It can also be done through that way. Applications like Microsoft 365, Salesforce, AWS, Slack, GitHub, these are all there on Okta. Almost every application is there on Okta. Okta's role in IAM, Central Identity Store, it contains all the employees' identity, like I told you, from Active Directory, LDAP, HR systems. So telling you why Okta leads in identity and access management, it's generally the hashtag one uh, platform in this space because of mainly because of their Okta integration network. It has 8,000 plus pre-built integrations, like I told you, and because it's pre-built integrations, it has faster deployment and time is of the essence. So people use Okta for its Okta integration network. It is very fast. I will also make you do the configuring part of the applications further in hands-on lab. Uh, but let's see if I am able to give you access or not. I will tell you by the end of the day. Cloud native and vendor neutral. So Okta has no restrictions for any apps. It is vendor neutral. So it is basically an advantage as companies can move from one application to another, like from Google Cloud to Amazon Cloud, like AWS. It can go from one competing company to another. It has basically no possible restrictions between uh, different companies. It is cloud. Everything Okta is cloud. So it is basically the difference between cloud and on-premise. I think you know, but I will explain once again. On-premise softwares are basically softwares which is in a company's own servers. It is built on the company's software infrastructure, etc. And while cloud native is a service provided by a cloud source, the company doesn't have to do anything. All the infrastructure, everything is managed by the cloud. And as Okta is a cloud native, so the software is maintained by the company and infrastructure is the company doesn't have, the client doesn't have to care about it. Strong security capabilities, that's why we use Okta. SSO and MFA. I think I have gone through that. Adaptive and risk-based authentication. So adaptive authentication is basically this, that if you are logging in from India, the company expects you to be in India, right? If you're joining an Indian company, you should be in India. If if the policies or this workforce is there. So if you join in from Australia, like US, it will check that it is not possible or not allowed by the company policies to log in from there. So you will not be allowed to log in. Or company could also have different authentication protocols or set of rules which you have to follow again to gain access of your account. So that's adaptive authentication. Risk-based authentication is like if your IP address is not from your country or you are using VPN and if your device is jailbroken and everything that is like your OS is below the required limit. So that is a high risk situation. And it will use third party companies to check your laptop before doing that. So it will add additional security checks while making you authenticate or will not let you authenticate as you will face it further down the line. Device trust and passwordless. So device trust is that basically that I've already told that the OS should be up to the date, the security should be maintained, the Windows Defender should be updated, everything related to a device should be up to date. And passwordless, Okta has a application it runs called as Okta FastPass. You download it in your laptop, you run it, and you log in it log you get you are already logged into the Okta FastPass after you do it once, and it will help you log into that Okta application in the Chrome or browser. So you don't even have to enter, the some you have to enter the password, but you don't have to do any second party checks like multi-factor authentication in such you don't have to do. You will just be able to click yes and move on. Universal directory, I've already told you guys. Joiner, mover, lever automation. So Okta also has workflows. to explain in detail, workflows basically help you automate the task you do manually. There are two ways of doing things. One, you can do everything yourself, clicking on things, clicking on tabs, clicking on add. And there's another way, which is workflow. So workflow helps you automate the tasks. It contains trigger basically a set of possible events which happens, which triggers the workflow. It is a process which gets triggered. So actions happen what you want the workflow to do, like adding a user. When a new user is added, it's an event. When an application is assigned to the user, it's an action you are making the workflow do. And the result is application assigned. That's the workflow. Okay, and there's another pre-configured workflow which you can do in Okta. It is called automation. So the set of triggers are less, the set of actions are less, but it is pre-configured. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to make it even. You just have to click on some buttons and it's done. So there's that. Open standards and excellent user experience. So Okta can basically make a different set of experience for different users. Like a company can have many different people trying to log into their system. There can be customers, there can be employees, uh, there can be contractors or independent, independent contractors. They can be them. So each of these people, each of these type of people can go through different login experience. One can have only username and password adding to login. One can have OTP also. One can have everything else like biometrics and all, security token, everything else. You can make the screen, the login box, and you can design the box so to make it more seamless. Like Okta can be integrated with different applications. So when you are going to the login, you don't even know you are moving on to Okta. So it helps to make a seamless login experience. And different set of authentication protocols can be used, like SAML. SAML is used for logging into web apps. So and OAuth 2.0. OAuth 2.0 is basically a protocol used for authorization. I told you, right? Authorization, authentication is when you log into a system. Authorization is how much access you have to that system. Like you are logging into Okta, and there are 10 permission a user can have. But if that particular user can only have four of them, that this is something which OAuth 2.0 does. Okay. OpenID Connect. It is basically a advanced version of OAuth 2.0. It is built on top of OAuth 2.0. It contains an additional ID token, which is written in the name also, OpenID ID. So it contains the ID token, which contains everything, every data of the employee, like name, date of birth, and many more. SCIM protocol is, uh, suppose I told you that if a person is newly joined, just joined the company. So what will happen is he will be first registered in the HR system. Then he will be entered into the universal directory because these processes are connected. When one happens, it will detect something is happening in the other system, fetch the information, and now the universal directory contains the information of the person. It will check if that user is in a particular department, has the permission to have access to that application or not, and they will be assigned an application. Now, the application is assigned to the user, but the application doesn't know that the user has been assigned that application. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying here about the SCIM protocol?
Yes, sir.
Sumit, Prashant,
Yeah, maybe if you can repeat that last part.
acha redo. Okay, so you are a newly joined employee in the company. You joined the company has assigned you an application. Does the application know that you have been assigned it? Are you understanding that the company has assigned the permission to use that application, but the application currently doesn't have an account, doesn't have your account.
Right.
So what does SCIM protocol do is automatically create your account in that application.
Okay.
Y- You don't have to manually create everything from the beginning. That's what this SCIM protocol does. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anything before that you need to I need to reclarify?
That is fine. Yeah. Okay.
Everything else is clear, right? Federation and LDAP is basically the source of truth I said, where the information can be taken to the universal directory. And WS Federation is the process where you trust a different organization's credential to log into a particular organization. Like if you are, suppose you are using Google account password and your username to log into the Okta, or you are using the Active Directories username or password to logging into your Okta. So this is the federation. The trust of using different organizations' credential to log into a system is federation. Okta helps in doing that also. Is that clear? Okta is being used by many Fortune 500 companies as it has many advanced features and has ease of use basically. So Okta is used by thousands of companies. And recently Okta is moving towards, if you have heard, Okta is moving towards AI. It has its own section of handling AI agents. You will see on the Okta page. I will show you the basic process of uh, what is going on in Okta. HR onboards, application is given to the user, access is granted, account is created using SCIM, like I told you. And here I think I told you or not that the application which is in Okta, it is connected using the protocols like SAML and OAuth and OIDC. So Okta and application are connected using that protocol, while the new accounts are created using the SCIM protocol. Okay. And deprovision. When the user exits the company or moves to a different department, deprovisioning process takes place, which is basically revoking access of the apps from that user. Difference between traditional IAM and Okta. Okta is cloud native on cloud. Uh, IAM different. Traditionally, IAM has had been on the servers on the company's infrastructure. It was basically a more of a manual setup, while Okta has workflows and automation to make the task more easier. Uh, Traditional IAM has limited integration possibilities, while Okta has 8,000 plus pre-built integrations, but we can also configure the app to be integrated ourselves. I will show you how we do that in the coming days. IAM had multiple stores. The problem had been solved by Okta as it contains every data from different sources in its universal directory. Traditional IAM has slower deployment because all the before mentioned points. Okta has faster implementation. Okay, let's move on to the real application Okta.